Hello everybody and welcome to the quickly growing city of Io Vivo. If you remember our very first general body meeting, I showed you a quick video on how placing a school in the then small town increased property values in its northern district right here. So this one school, which has a 5 apple grade, kudos to them, was able to bring demand for medium and high wealth residents. However, over time, factories have poured into the formerly agricultural lands. This is a huge factory district located just west of the downtown right here. And due to that, we have a lot of tenements that have moved in close to downtown and close to the offices. So let's go through the city's newfound problems. So to do that, let's go to the demand. So this city is primarily a low wealth city. So we have all these low wealth tenements in the southern district, and then we have some single family houses of medium and high wealth. Now I want to stress something really important. There is a difference between wealth and density, and also there is not necessarily an inverse correlation between wealth and density. So please don't assume that all the richest people live in the biggest mansions. While that is a case here, I'm actually going to prove that that is not always the case. Just take a look at New York City, for example. Penthouses, which are relatively small, go for millions and millions of dollars. Why? Well, there are many reasons, but one reason is that New York City has an amazing public transportation system. Sadly, this city lacks that. People hate driving, unless if you're one of those few car enthusiasts, and I honestly admit I'm probably one of those. Unless you're one of those people, you will hate driving to work. You want to minimize that time as much as possible. So you either move closer to the factories, but that's where all the pollution is, or you decongest the roads. So to do that, I'm going to place a bus system. So what this bus system aims to do is to increase the property values, in addition to obviously decreasing the traffic and increasing the air quality. So increasing the property values will hopefully cause all these medium and high wealth houses right here. We have some medium wealth and some high wealth. We want to drive in the regional demand. This RCI graph shows regional demand of around 15 miles. So you want to drive that into Io Vivo and not similar villages nearby. So you want to show that Io Vivo is the place to live, and adding bus stops is a good way to show that. So let's show that the demand has desirability to move here and place some bus stops. So I'm going to place them around 12 tiles apart. This simulation uses that as a metric based on how far people are willing to walk. So I'm going to place them around the city. Sadly, I may have to destroy one or two houses, but it's not as bad in real life. Obviously, the bus stops will be on real roads there. So I'm just placing it throughout the city, trying to minimize property destruction. Let's place some here. That will only destroy one house. And again, I hate destroying houses, but that's just how this game works. So, whatever. Placing it both in the residential, commercial, and industrial. A majority of the people in the city live in the east, work in the west. So I'm placing bus stops both in the east and west. For example, most of you probably took a school bus to school. Would it make much sense if the buses didn't take you to school, instead they took you to your friend's house? Probably for that one party, but in reality, in day-to-day use, you wouldn't like that. So that's why. I sadly had to destroy that one factory to build that one bus stop. But now the city has bus stops. We have public transportation. These roads are ridiculously choked with traffic. Let's see what happens. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, look at that. I'm going to actually put it on regular speed here. We have some medium wealth residential coming up here. We have 31 people who are going to be moving into each of these. And look at how small of a space that is. Each of these houses has less people in more space. So there's going to be a lot of demand for people to downsize because there's desirability now. We have the bus, commute times are less, people are willing to spend that extra chunk of money to downsize, even downsize when they are getting that quick access to public transport and having more time to themselves. Because ultimately, life is more than money, it is about happiness. Now that may be cool, right? Well, let's look at this mansion here. High wealth residential. Let's take a look at this tower and this tower coming up. High wealth residential. Everybody living in this building could have very well relocated in a house like this somewhere nearby, but they saw the benefits of public transportation. And contrary to popular belief, public transport is used by all wealth levels. Now obviously a little less by the wealthy, but still nonetheless all wealth levels. So we have all these nice tenements being constructed, condos even. Let's speed this up a little. Oh, we got a city hall because there are enough people living in here. Let's place that somewhere. You know what, I'm not going to do it for now, but another time I will. So we have some more and more buildings coming. So let's fast forward it quickly. And there we go. Look at that transformation. Now importantly, everybody living in here has same wealth. We just have exponentially more people living in each building. We have 9 people living in there versus 246 living in this building. Now obviously the land area is 3 times more, but still the density is much higher. People downsized because their commute times decreased by quite a bit. Now in the world's greatest cities like London, New York, there's a reason why Manhattan is the most expensive, because you're close to all the activities. There's a big drop off once you cross the rivers into Brooklyn, Queens, Jersey City, whatnot, and this simulation, I hope, very well explained that. So to quickly wrap up, what would be the next step? Now we have negative demand for both medium and high wealth, but office demand is now positive. If you remember correctly, beforehand, both of these were negative, and we have some demand for high-tech industry. So these are like your Silicon Valley type industrial companies. They are willing to relocate into this area, granted that they have desirable land. And probably due to the presence of bus stations, they will. Now I'm not going to illustrate that here because that's probably going to have a very similar, like really mirror how the development of these higher wealth residential tenements formed. It's going to be higher wealth offices coming in. But we do have some higher wealth offices right here, some medium wealth commercial offices. Before they were all just low wealth shops. So people work here, and I'm willing to bet many of these shops will be changed for higher renting people. So that's going to do it. But let me reiterate something really important before I close. This is a simulation from 2003. It does an amazing job at replicating real-life phenomenon. However, it is not the end-all be-all. Firstly, many trends have changed in the last 10 to 15 years. For example, we see ride-sharing and other similar tactics. Second, this game does not go into the ins and outs of actual real estate in terms of gentrification and whatnot. So this game gave you the big picture of why public transport affects real estate property values. But what else? What are the negative implications? So thankfully, right here in our GBM, we are going to be presenting a discussion. So Trent DiNardo and Kyle Bigley will show you the positive and negative impacts of transportation and public transportation specifically on the real estate market. And I hope you guys give a good deliberation about this. So thank you so much for coming to this meeting. Have free pizza, there's still some in the front. And see you.